This is something that is, I think a really beautiful film, a huge learning lesson for a lot of people.
We're not trying to cram messages down anybody's throat. We just want to entertain and represent and reflect the world we see around us.
They asked her a million times, who are you, what are you? And she is Nimona. She's exactly who she wants to be. And that, that honesty is something that is so important, so beautiful. And I think self-acceptance and self-love and acceptance of other people is really important.
The story deals so much with like, who do we call a villain, who do we call a hero, who do we call a monster? And having this institution point and be like, look, over there, that's the bad one, that's the cause of all our problems. We should be afraid of that, we should hate that. And this movie calls that into question.
And yes, at its heart is also a message that is profound about acceptance, about accepting other people who are different from you, whether they're a shapeshifter or a knight, whether they're someone that you think of as a villain. I think that's the central message of the film.
The think piece about the film is that sometimes we have to question and protest and rebel against larger powers that be that don't have your best interests in mind, especially if you're a marginalized group. That's something that I think any family who wants to expose, especially their kids, the story about how you can have more radical ways of thinking that feel progressive and they feel proactive.
Heartbroken is how we all felt. It was a really sad day when we found out that this wasn't gonna see the light of day. We were so close to being finished with the movie. We had 1 or 2 sessions left. And then we got the call that Big Sky was shuttering and this wasn't gonna come out, any other way.
Yeah, I mean, I was just heartbroken for a while because I think we'd all put in so much into this, and Troy and Nick in particular, our directors, they're incredible. I mean, we recorded in the booth on our own, most of us, so those 2 guys played every other character in everyone's recording sessions. So that's the level of commitment we're talking about. And yeah, it just felt sad that maybe this wouldn't be able to see the light of day after all that work we put in. So glad it is now. And so glad for ourselves, but also for audiences, because I feel like this is genuinely fresh. I don't think we've seen something like this before in the animation space.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle that it exists. It's a miracle that it was killed and brought back to life. I'm sure you know that doesn't happen all that often.
It was fun. I mean, Nick and Troy are brilliant directors, and they're incredible to work opposite, to be honest. And they, I think they really took it above and beyond.
I am very fortunate to have been able to be so involved in the production, and Nick and Troy just really, it was always a conversation, and it was one that was always growing and evolving. So that's not always what happens when you're the creator of the source material. You don't always get to be behind the scenes like that, and I really loved being able to be on this movie.
You're really struggling with how do you get this idea to come across in a way that feels both entertaining and honest. But when you solve it, that's the struggle, but when you solve it and everyone's laughing and everyone's feeling something in the room, that's the best. That's the greatest feeling. It's when you feel those things click.
Well, the worst was when it was canceled. But the best was when it was picked up again. No, I mean, honestly, every day in the booth was the best. I can't think of any moment that I felt like was worse. I think the worst parts was when I had to do long stretches of death scene and some fighting where I got really, really sweaty and I got embarrassed because the hair wasn't hairing. It wasn't hairing as tall as it usually was. But no, I mean, it was a blessing to be able to work with Nick and Troy, and I think that it was always a delight and a romp and a thoughtful way of deconstructing these characters to make sure that they really shine.
Putting the reels up and going, we found the movie. We know what this movie is, which was the best day. And then knowing you were gonna share it on a Thursday and getting news that your studio's closing down on a Tuesday and your movie's not gonna go anywhere and you're dead in the water. That was a pretty bad day. But then feeling the love and the passion, the support for that, what you all created together, buoy that and lift it up and bring it back to life, another pretty great day.